Welcome to Open Crib. I'm here with Atsen. My name's Hunter. Today we're just going to be talking about really everything, including just him. And I don't know, we just had a long ass conversation about Donda and CLB and all the Drake shit, especially the Too Sexy video. But to start it off, bro, since we actually have not talked a ton, I've really just dove into your music. Kind of tell me about yourself. Just you as a person, how you got into music, all the generic stuff they asked in the beginning.
Of course. All right. I guess I'm gonna start with how I got into music. I be telling this story, and I feel like I be copying Uzi on some shit because I started making music because I wanted to be cool, right?
Yeah.
Or I started rapping anyway because my friend he was rapping. And everybody seemed to like him, and I was never really a popular. I was really more class clown type,
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, this is nice, give me a little bit of attention. And then I started rapping too, and then slowly over time, it was oh, this is super fire, and I really like doing it. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was really how I got into it. I think. I don't really know. I don't know how to talk about myself.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I guess maybe where you grew up and if that had any influence on the type of music you make, and just especially with the last project that I was talking about, oh my god, now I'm blanking on the song name, bro. The one I was obsessed with. What was it called? I Don't Want to Die Alone.
Was it that one?
Yes, it was that one. And I think it was just the. By the way, we got Simba, Dobbs, and Jovan in the room. We've already interviewed Simba twice. Yeah. But anyway, because there was a lot of samples on that. So how did that come to be? Why was that such a focus for that?
Because so that entire project, Mylena, that was me because I was in Nigeria.
Okay.
So I just came back 7 months ago.
Okay.
So I was in Nigeria. I didn't really have access to a lot of things. And so samples were my primary thing. I really, and still to this day, I really kind of like chopping samples. That's on some Kanye shit. And especially indie music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to. I don't know, especially sophomore year, I got into this whole thing where I was just listening to a bunch of music.
Yeah.
Regardless of really what it was. And so that was a song that I really like. It's I hope I don't get no copyright shit from if they see this interview, but it's a song called
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, so I took that song and I chopped it up. And I think I don't know, that song was I sent it to him or I sent it to them.
Yeah.
And they texted me back and they were like, oh, this is this crazy.
That's the one, yeah.
And weirdly enough, I didn't really I guess I was just oh, this is a cool song or whatever. But then it came out and everybody liked it, and I was like, oh, this is super dope.
Yeah.
It's good to see people appreciate the stuff I do. Yeah.
So I did see. So I'm curious because I really like that project, and obviously with each project and each release comes growth of an artist. Typically you don't see regression pretty early. Sometimes people can fall back into old habits, just in general, right? But I saw you put on your story that you talked about your next project and that sometimes when people make music, I feel everyone views it as oh, they're trying to make it in some certain area. But you mentioned that you just may be done making music after the next thing you put out, and it's just what is that kind of in terms of a creative field? I feel that's almost not as much pressure to create something so great, and I feel almost more natural ideas will come out of that.
Yeah, definitely. The post, we actually had a whole conversation about this, because basically. I just got to, I think, I'm at a place in my life, currently, and I think you might hear it in the album. I'm just I guess I was, or I'm going through a season in my life, where I don't know, things just really were stressing me out.
Yeah.
And it was really just taking a toll on my like creative process, you know? And so I was just like, oh man, like I would have days where I'm like, oh man, I don't really know if like, you know, like I really am like trying to like do this, you know what I mean? Or if people are like, oh, are people gonna appreciate this? And like I think the stress of being an underground artist, because like a lot of the time being an underground artist means sometimes you do things and you get low yield.
There's no validation. There's no like appreciation or like instant gratification for what you do.
Exactly. I think that kind of stress when you're like, especially when you make something. I made something like so like very raw in like my lane, and that did well. But at the same time, sometimes like you do things and you make a song that like means so much to you.
You become vulnerable.
You become vulnerable with like literally the entire world. And then like 2 likes, 2 plays, and it's like okay, that I don't mind that kind of stress, right? Like normally, but then like paired with just like personal issues, that was just like really.
It weighs heavy,
It weighs really heavy on you, and you just like go around like, oh man. And so I think, I don't know, like with that post, I made it. It was kind of spontaneous because I'd be having.
It was a spur of the moment thing.
Spur of the moment thing, but at the same time, it was like a truthful kind of feeling. Of like, wow, like I really wonder. Sometimes I wonder, like, you know, if like even when I release this album, like I really hope people like resonate with something. And they keep telling me that they are going to, and I trust that. But you know, sometimes you still have like rough days.
I mean that just comes with being creative, bro. I mean like I'm like 22 and I consider myself like I started doing it in like 2018. So let's just say I was talking to them about this like on the way here. Like I would say I'm 3 years and a month into my journey, right? So I've always believed that it's a 5 to 10 year plan, right? With anything you do creatively. I think year 3 is when you start to get like hard at this shit. Like this is when you start getting good, or if you're on the right track, that's when you should be getting good. Because I feel like if you look at all the people who make it, there's no clear-cut path, or not make it, but succeed in their own mindset, right? Succeed in their own way. I think the biggest thing is year 3 is when you get hard at it, and then year 4 is like when you really start getting like maybe like that appreciation you start looking for. Even though you should be doing it for yourself, that validation is always just good for you to understand like, okay, at least I'm on the right path to where I need to go. And year 5, I feel like is where you really get to experience that stuff, because I saw a tweet the other day and low-key like I related to it so much. Like I get to go do cool opportunities with cool people and go to these cool places. But if I spend $100 that night, I'm fucked for the rest of the month. And it's like, you know what? At least I'm in a position I wasn't in 3 years ago, where I couldn't even get those opportunities. I couldn't even get to those cool places, those cool people. So to me, that means I'm on the right path. And it's like, it's really tough, bro, because like we had tons of videos, tons of articles that we put tons of time into, and we just don't. And like, you know what? The way I look at something is like when stuff doesn't go well, instead of like what I've always done is just like, okay, I need to come better next time. I need to do a better job of making sure that other people can't even look at it and turn away and be like, they like put it so good and in their face that they're like, fuck, this is so tough. I can't ignore it. And that's just kind of been my mindset. It's just like you can't stop, because literally the way the internet works, it's like social media, anything can pop off at any point. So the day you give up is the next day could have been the day you blow, but you can't. It won't work anymore.
That's an interesting thought. That is definitely an interesting thought. I definitely feel that. I think because I think I'm hitting my. If I'm saying like when I really started doing this music shit, I'm hitting my 3-year mark.
Okay.
Like pretty soon. My first EP will be 3 in February.
Okay.
Of next year, which is like crazy. You know,
But how old are you? How old are you by chance?
Right now I'm 17.
Okay, so listen, bro. Like you're 17. Like that 3 years counts, but at the same time, like, bro, I'm 22. So that means I started older than you are, and I'm like, if I were to start at the same age as you, I would have been in like fucking year 6 or 7 of my plan or whatever. But like, bro, 17, you have time. And like also, there's this fake thing of like you have to succeed super early, bro.
Right.
Most successful entrepreneurs and business owners are not successful till they're like 40, 45 years old.
That's true. That's true.
So my bad. Go back to you. I cut you off.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. I definitely feel like I am very transparent with a lot of my emotions, especially on social media. I think that, and sometimes I think it might be like, oh, like that's kind of weird. Yeah. But I definitely am like me, and I try to be me in like everything I do. So even when if I'm emotional, bro, you're gonna hear about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like whether or not, even if I really can't even help it sometimes. Yeah. Like you gonna hear about it. And I think sometimes that like I definitely feel like going back to what you said about putting things in people's faces. Mm-hmm. I definitely feel like this album is my kind of like statement. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is something that I want to put in people's face and be like, I think this is a unique sound that I don't really see a lot of people doing. Yeah. Even though obviously it might draw from familiar places. Yeah. Nobody's doing it like me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Gotta feel that way about your shit.
You gotta feel that way. And I definitely, they've been very instrumental in like helping me have confidence in my work. Yeah. And I think I don't know, like I'm really excited for it to drop and like see what people think about it. And just kind of bask in it in the win, I guess.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I mean, me and Simba were kind of talking about it earlier, just like what you got coming up, and it's like it's always exciting, especially when you come off like a project, right? Because it's like we kind of talked about that with like Marathon, like coming off of Claustrophobic, right? Like it's always that like transitional piece into like the next step of like what you want to do creatively. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, it's just always like cool to have like a clean slate, and then you can completely control how you move forward. Mm-hmm. But yeah, bro, I'm excited.
Yeah, no, me too. I think there's also like this weird, I think whenever you finish a project, there's always kind of a weird, what next? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, okay, what do I do now? Like, oh, I spent like for this album, I sat right over there. Yeah. And I did all the work. I came home, new mixes. I sent this shit. Yeah. Like, oh, I want to do this. I re-recorded, blah, blah, blah. And you put so much time, and then it's done. And I send it out for, mixing, like and mastering, like fully. And then you gotta just sit in the crib and you like, damn, like I don't got nothing to do now. Like most of my days are spent doing that. And it's like it's like a slow burn to like get the reward or whatever, which makes me more excited for it to drop. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Now, besides music, what do you do besides music? Like, what are you into? What do you invest your time into? Hobbies, obviously, like music. At a certain point, music becomes work, or like, and it can still be fun, and it's supposed to be. Work is supposed to be fun if you're doing the right thing. It's just like, dude, I play Madden. Like, I love Madden. Like, that's what I do. So, like, what is your other outlets?
I don't even know. Like, I be doing music a lot. Okay. But I think I think I spend the rest of the time, I would like to say, just kind of gathering inspiration, because low key, like I didn't, like, even to this day, right? I've never had a console. Like, I've never had a video game console, right? Like I don't play video games. Okay. You feel me? Like I don't really do a lot of like other things that like you would normally think that like, oh, a 17-year-old like a 17-year-old guy would be doing. I mean, I think the most common thing I do would be to just like watch shows.
Okay. What do you watch?
Man, that is a complicated question, because I'll be watching a lot. Right now, I just finished Castlevania. That's a really good.
Okay.
That's a really good. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a really good show.
You fuck with it, Jovan?
Yeah, bro,
You
that's
both
really
shook your
hard.
head.
A couple people have been telling me to watch it. I peeped it like the other day for a second. I'm definitely gonna get into it.
This is
It's
hard,
so
bro.
good.
If you watch this,
from the first second,
Timing.
Okay.
they really they got some good and then I be reading too.
Okay.
I love I guess when I say I read, that makes me sound like I be reading just like random shit.
Yeah.
Mostly I be reading like either Greek mythology or mythology in general
Okay.
or I love Rick Riordan books.
Okay.
Those books are literally like, oh my goodness. Like,
So what draws you to that stuff?
Cause like mythology or like that.
Yeah.
Those
Because I don't like, besides like the Bible every like once in a while, like I haven't like read a book in a long time.
So I am like I was raised Christian.
Yeah.
And so I really grew up on like a lot of these things. Like I grew up on like angels, demons, Jesus. I literally like I used to love hearing my Bible stories. Like I know them. You know what I mean? And really just the I guess that more or less like developed as I got older. And like a lot of these Greek myths, they draw from a lot of the same places.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
as far as I kind of got to a place where I started mixing those interests like into my music and stuff and like that's what really like fueled it more because now I have like something that I want to talk about in my music. Like I'll be like a character from a myth. Like right now I have this whole thing about Calypso going on.
Okay.
I mean that's like a whole thing and I like that really fuels the fire because now I feel like not only am I just like reading these stories, but I can relate to them. You know what I mean? I can relate to them on like a whole new level. And like I think Rick Riordan does a very good job of taking these because obviously there's things that we can't really relate to about like things that happen in the ancient world like myths, things like that. Like Hercules. I can't really do all that. But like Rick Riordan does a really good job of just kind of not only modernizing these myths, but also bringing you into that world. He does like a very good job of world building, and I think I take those I kind of like take notes from that, like building this entire universe that I like. The person who is experiencing your form of art is able to see themselves in. So like when people listen to my music, I want it to be the same feeling as when I'm reading a Rick Riordan book, and I'm like, damn, I'm trying to be in one of these camps. I'm trying to fight all these demons too. Like, yo, bring it up. Like, what's up? Like I was 13. I was waiting and praying for the day one of these fucking, because in the Rick Riordan books, when a parent claims you, like you have this little like aura thing in your and like you like a monster attacks your school. That sounds really bad. But like, bro, it was like I was waiting for the day that one of my classmates turned out to be like a recruit or some shit. And you know what I mean? And I want that to be the feeling when you like when you come into my music. I want to feel like I'm creating this universe for you, or even bringing you into my universe. You know what I mean? Like these are the things that I've experienced in my life. These are the pains and the traumas and or the joys and the like the heartbreaks, the loves, all of that. I'm making that into a universe that you can relate to, and you listen to my music like, oh yeah. You know what I mean?
Like each track has its own atmosphere that you're like surrounded by, enveloped with. And I think that's like really a really important part of music, is kind of creating that atmosphere and environment so people can like really dive deep, and because I think that like allows for more of a deeper connection to the actual song. Definitely. But
From Greek myths, if you really want to listen to a song where I think I do a pretty good job of incorporating that. Like Elysium is a good one. and like even in the name,
Okay.
that is, even in the name, that's like a good. It's because Elysium in Greek mythology, that's like basically like heaven.
Okay.
So it's like if you if you were like a good person, and so I think that song is about kind of like a kind of like happiness.
Okay.
But like it's more like, okay, you can see happiness, like it's within reach.
Okay.
And it's the last song on the album.
Okay.
So that kind of gives, I think, listening to that, people should be mindful of like, oh, like, okay, there's more context to this.
Yeah.
And when you listen to the album, you're gonna listen to like the last song, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, like yeah, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. This is Elysium. You are seeing this, field in front of you. Like if you do a Google image search, Elysium, you'll see all of those images. You know what I mean? That is what I want this song to sound like. You're seeing these images in this tunnel, and you see that. You know what I mean? Like it's right in front of you.
Okay.
And I think that's that's as decent of a segue as I can.
So, saying that it's like the last song on the project, is it like, obviously how you were saying like the light at the end of the tunnel and everything like that? So it's like, I'm assuming the album is gonna be like, there's gonna be like kind of like a storyline, like concept based to it then?
It's yes. Actually, I'll say just yes.
Okay.
Because it's not like, I don't think it's like a very obvious story. I think it's more just like
You have to pick it up?
Yeah, just kind of like on a like, yes, these are a series of songs, but if you like look deeper at them,
Okay.
this is like an experience that I'm going through.
Gotcha. Okay.
And by the end of it, this is what this is what I say. This is what I've landed on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is it more of like a solo deep dive, or do you have like people helping out in terms of like features and stuff?
Yeah, this is pretty much just me.
Okay.
Or well, I guess not pretty much. It is just me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Features are.
I was gonna say, because your last project you had already too.
I had Simba on there. And the thing is, bro, anybody who wants like to like have me on a song or like whatever, like I'm totally down to work with people.
Okay.
But it's just that like I'm low key also really bad at networking.
Yeah.
So and then on top of that, these whenever like I get in like the zone of like making a song, I think sometimes I get a little bit selfish, and I'm like, I'm just thinking about me. Or, like I'm thinking about my experience,
especially with your own creations.
Right. Like this is my little like, because I like to think of like songs like paintings.
Yeah.
Like this is my painting, and I'm doing all this stuff. And like yes, I would love for somebody to come in and spray a little bit of color on it. But at the end of the day, I am making this painting like myself.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get like a little bit lost and self-centered in that, but.
I feel you, bro. No, I mean like I actually prefer albums without like a ton of features. I think like I don't know. I feel like sometimes it can water it down if it's not like executed perfectly. But like
Igor's done a good job of that.
Yeah, Igor, and like I found like for like Yeezus, I found like Yeezus, he did a perfect job. And that's like, we kind of talk about this a lot at Burbs, but like almost like using Kanye as like he's like a point guard, right? Like he just puts people in the right positions on the tracks, and they always typically do well. But yeah, no, I'm excited for the project. What kind of like, like we talked about like the last project, is there like, you said it's like more of a like, this is like an experience that you lived and everything like that. Is that typically how it is when you look at these like longer like commitment projects? Because I feel like singles, like you can get in, get out, and like obviously it takes time, but with projects, like you have to like really commit to putting yourself in that headspace. So it's like, do you run through like different ideas or experiences that you can put in place to that album, or is it kind of like just everything you're experiencing and like kind of capturing that in like in a certain amount of songs?
Yeah, I think the album, I would say it is an encapsulate. Yeah, I would say everything I was like really kind of feeling.
Yeah.
I never well, I guess I kind of do, but like I think a lot of the times again, like whatever I'm feeling is whatever is going to come out in the song. You know, so if I'm feeling, I never really like pinpoint a thing that I want to do.
Gotcha.
You know, like I never be like, I'm never like, there's this feeling that I felt 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm trying to recreate that on this track. No, it's like whatever I felt literally the night before or literally that morning.
Yeah.
That is what I'm going to bring with me, and that is what we're going to spray on this canvas right now. You know what I mean? And so I think that doing that little by little, by the time you're done with a project, you have an encapsulation of everything you've been through.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Especially if it takes you like a long time to create that project.
So when do you think, when is your expectation of, releasing? Obviously not like a pinpoint date, but do you have an idea?
So it's releasing. I literally announced it today.
Okay.
It's releasing on my birthday, on my 18th birthday, October 4th. So that's literally
so pretty soon.
In a month.
Sorry to. He's I believe, I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, someone's gonna get on my head. But I believe he's the first official album from 2DB after from other signees except for myself. So this is a super, super big thing for everybody involved. We're all super excited for Atsen, October 4th. Very special birthday, and
yes, sir.
October 4th.
October 4th.
It's gonna be a big day.
Yes, sir. I hope so.
Do you have plans for that day? It's a birthday and release.
It's a birthday and release. It is a Monday, so I don't know what I'm gonna do on a Monday.
Yeah.
But I hope, I don't know, I'm thinking of like throwing together something, but I'm not good at parties.
Yeah. I feel you.
I don't
Even
know.
just like a kickback listening party.
Yeah, just like
really
a kickback,
cool.
really just invite some friends maybe. Or if that doesn't happen, maybe I'll just have a day to myself and just like kind of.
I have to go to school for.
I don't think so actually. I might not have class that day.
That would be nice.
Yeah, if I don't.
That would be really
If
nice.
I don't have class that day, that would be dope because like college isn't like a whole Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday thing. So I might be free. I hope so. If not, actually no, because my classes don't even start till later that month.
Oh, so you're
so
cool
I'm set. I'm only gonna be taking one class by then.
You're
so
cool.
I'm set. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm very interested to see the cover art for this.
Oh, we can show it to you right now.
Yeah. Can you put it on the screen or something?
Yeah, I can throw it on the screen.
Yeah.
What inspired the cover art? Because I haven't seen it yet. I don't even know what it is.
We hit up
Don Orphan. He's so cool.
I don't know who that is.
Well, he's this guy from Chicago. He works really closely with the company. He loved Atsen's song, and he loved the music. And Atsen actually did a lot of graphic design through it too. And for release of Atsen made too. Atsen's actually low-key a graphic designer. Can you talk about it?
No, it's just because I was
gonna ask if you had any creative outlets.
I had
to. Literally a graphic designer.
Well, because literally we couldn't. No, because we couldn't. I guess I couldn't. I didn't.
This is tough.
I couldn't afford this is the first time I've paid somebody to make some art for me.
Yeah.
Like the last time I had to make that shit myself. Same thing with Alone and in Love. I had to make it myself because I couldn't pay anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to reach out to any artist or whatever. So I was like, okay. Yeah, I mean, this is it's part of what makes me really excited about this one because this is the first time I have
structure behind it.
I have a backing. I have somebody who's like, yeah, that's good. We can help you do this.
Yeah.
Before it was literally, oh, you can't do that. You can't do it. You can't. It doesn't make the cut on the project. Oh, that mix is bad. Too bad.
Yeah.
Send it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now I send it, and they're like. Yeah, that mix is not good, bro. Let's have that professionally mixed and then mastered, and now I'm able to actually make something that's really, and weirdly enough, on the first EP that I did, that was the mixes there are I've revisited it. The mixes there are really good, but that was a total accident. I did not mean that at all. I was just mixing.
Happened.
I literally I might as well blindly have mixed it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing at all.
No, I feel you,
Yeah,
bro.
so
I feel you on like the becoming a graphic designer out of necessity.
Out of
like that's
necessity.
that's how I learned a ton of stuff. Is like I have the money to pay people to do it, and like
at all.
it's easy, and also you don't have to rely on anybody for it. You can just do it. So I get that. I mean, I feel like definitely in the creative field you learn a lot of stuff out of necessity because it's like, you know what, everyone else is doing it. You have to do that to keep up with people. So.
Because if you can't, I can't just be like, oh, well, no album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No
Yeah.
EP, guys. Sorry,
Bro.
I can't get cover art. Like, no, even if it's a black screen.
Yeah, you can literally
Also
do
done this
anything.
shit.
I mean, like,
Almost his entire catalog is self-produced.
Yeah.
really.
So, like, well, except for the first EP. First EP. Well, I did production on the last song on the first EP.
Is that a necessity thing or
that
like
was a necessity thing
choice?
because
Okay.
I couldn't. I was looking at the time.
Yeah.
I know that's gonna come back and bite me, but I don't care. That last beat,
Yeah.
I was looking for something, and I was like, okay, well, I can't find anything.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, so I'm like, okay, I have a bunch of, songs that I really like. Again, sampling.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of songs I really like. I pulled one of them in. Like, my favorite song at that time was Hey There Delilah.
Okay.
That song, that's
Yeah.
the literally sample. I pulled that in and I reversed it, and that's how I made it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And like so those are the type, and those are always like the end, like they end up being the best songs because it's just like spur of the moment, out of necessity. You have to find inspiration somewhere.
Yeah. No, I feel
So you do it.
I feel
You know
you.
what I mean? So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, bro. I mean, I think self-production is really important. I think because like you can like kind of like we were talking about earlier with like the atmosphere in the world and like all that stuff. I think it helps you really control every aspect of it. So like not only are you creating this environment with your vocals and words and like all that stuff, you're also literally crafting the sound of everything. Like you control everything. I think that's so important too, and I think it's very, very like overlooked for people who do that because it's so much more work.
Like this is like a funny little detail, but the album is called 18, right?
Okay.
And that is a direct reference to 17.
Okay.
Like, the album by X, because that album literally, like,
Stuck with you?
without that album, I don't even know what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
But that is a direct reference there. And on the first song, the explanation,
Yeah.
X goes, like you were literally, and he stresses it, you are literally entering my mind. And I feel like the fact that this is self-produced, it just adds to that even more. You know what I mean? Because that means every note you hear
Yeah.
was in my head, and I have brought it, I've made it, and that's what I like really love about music. These things that you have in your head, you make them tangible pieces of art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is something I can literally listen to,
Yeah.
and it came from your brain. So like when you listen to this EP, or to this album, you are literally entering my mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the build. That's like a true beauty of self-production. You can. No, you.
My bad, bro. No, that's when I started looking at art in that way. Like that's the close and because I realized two things. You will never truly understand somebody because you will never be in their body, in their mind. You will never be able your happiness and their happiness can be close, but you will never know if it feels the exact same, right? And once I realized that, it made me understand something about art in the aspect of whatever they're creating, that is the closest thing to being able to see into somebody's mind.
Exactly.
So I get that 100%, bro. But what has been kind of like through this like music, or creative experience over the last couple of years, what has been like just like one of the most, I don't even know, like I don't want to say like influential or like crazy or wild, but just like what is an experience that you've had through these past few years that has just hit you like, wow? Like it can be, something funny, something upsetting, something whatever. Like I feel like a lot of people have those moments, whether it's good or bad, where it's just like, fuck, this comes with the territory, and like I'm with it, I'm not with it. Like,
let's see, an experience in doing music. Wow.
I feel like my thing throughout the creation stuff, just to kind of like maybe give like some understanding of maybe what I'm trying to portray, because I feel like that was a really wordy question,
it's
but
fine.
my bad. But like for example, it just taught me how to really like just through all this stuff, it made me look at like life a lot differently in terms of like how I work with people, how I trust people, how I do all that stuff, because it really made me realize that like my time is the only thing like obviously you can't buy more of, right? So like I really made me realize like, okay, the limited time I do have, I'm gonna make sure I spend it with people that I truly do care about, because like I'm dedicating so much time to this stuff, and like the people I want, those people around me, the people that I'm spending the most time with like in this stuff, to be like genuine people that I really fuck with.
Okay. I would say lately I've been really thinking about, because in the vein of like, wow, do I want to not do music?
Yeah.
I've been really thinking about how different my life would be if I never started music.
Yeah.
And it's part of what really kind of makes me feel like, oh, wow, music is really like, this is the thing.
Yeah.
Because there's multiple times in my life where I've definitely like I've had the realization over and over again, music is my thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like music. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
if and so I think about I think it's very much shaped me.
Yeah.
As a person, and like I think a lot of my ability to process my emotions and express myself, that has all been a result of music. Okay. I don't know how I would have been able to do that in a healthy way had it not been for music, because I think music gives you such a wide range of expressions, people expressing themselves in different ways.
Yeah.
You know, even if I'm talking about selling drugs, that's still me expressing some kind of truth. You know what I mean? Yeah. And all the emotions that come behind that, the nonchalantness in my delivery that I'm telling you I'm selling drugs. Yeah. I could be like, oh, I'm selling drugs because I'm struggling, or I'm selling drugs like we lit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that there's all these different ways that people express themselves, and I think doing music really let me see all these different forms, like different people and their expressions and how they go about processing their emotions. Yeah. And then also made me reevaluate like how I do this, how I process my emotions to make sure this song doesn't sound like I'm whining, or doesn't sound like I'm, doing, you know what I mean? And even though there's like sad moments and whatever, you make the song and you get through it. And you write all your emotions out, and that's been a really big thing that I've been like really thinking about recently. Okay.
I feel you, bro. I feel like we covered a lot today, from definitely. Greek mythology to the atmosphere and music to just everything. But before we wrap it up, is there anything that kind of like you want to talk about a little bit more on the project, or something you want to shout out, or anything like that?
I would like to shout out Halloween. I fucking love Halloween. This is like my first time really like looking forward to Halloween. Okay. And I think because this project, for me, I think one thing that I want people to do with this project is to be able to, all your fears and all your anxieties, I want that to be literally let that loose. Yeah. Like I think a lot of the times we have the tendency to, we kind of hide from our fears. Yeah. We kind of like, I don't know, I don't really want to think about that right now. No, think about it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Confront it, yeah.
I am terrified of blah, blah, blah. And I think Halloween gives us that, gives us the ability to, I have ghouls everywhere. I have ghosts everywhere. Yeah. I am scared of, if a ghost came in here right now, I'd be terrified.
Man, fuck that shit. I'm not doing that, bro.
Right, we'd all run away. But at the same time, Halloween gives us a time to revel in that fear. And I think that's what this EP really kind of does. You revel in your emotions. You dwell in them, and like you really just like sit and like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel invincible right now. Yeah. I feel terrible right now. Yeah. I am very scared. I am really high. You know what I mean? You. And I think that's really what I want people to do. Like, dwell in your emotions. Like, they're valuable, and especially fear. Like, fear is like, it's actually a very like interesting emotion if you really like dive deep into it. It's like, and sometimes you can really like, I think I'm kind of going into a tangent here, but sometimes you can really like stop fear when you really think about it. When you're like,
I'm really that serious,
right?
Yeah.
I'm really scared of this thing, but like, why?
Right. No, I feel you, bro. I mean, like, it's just a lot of anxiety stuff too. It's like you're anxious about something, but it's like, really, at the end of the day, is it gonna make that big of a difference in my life? Like, it's really not that serious, bro.
And like, I think it's kind of because like I'm a very big nihilist. I'm really like, oh, nothing really matters.
I agree. I'm the same way, but that actually motivates me.
Right. I think now that I've been doing that I've been reveling in those fears, because sometimes like you're like, nothing matters.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a big thought.
Yeah.
I hate that thought. I don't want to think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me really sad. But when you really like dwell in that and you're like, nothing matters. Okay, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Fear is literally like, there's like, when you talk about fight or flight.
Yeah.
Fear is what you feel when you're running away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's what you do when you're in danger.
Right.
What's gonna kill me here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's gonna kill me about nothing mattering? You know what I mean?
I feel you.
Like, that's like, and I think that kind of processing of emotion, that's what I've really been learning how to do, especially, and like I kind of channel that through this project. Okay. And that's again why I love Halloween. Yeah. Reveling in those emotions, letting them run loose.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it. October 4th, you got 18 Atsen. This has been Open Crib. I appreciate you coming on, bro. It's been a good convo for real. Yeah. Shout out your socials real quick.
On Instagram, I really hope I don't have a manic episode and change them. But
they're gonna be linked down below anyway, so it don't matter.
So my Instagram is @Atsen.
Okay.
And then my Twitter is @AtsenAllFather.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. Want to shout out Stunner real quick. The shirt is too tough, but we're going to keep coming back with these. I love doing Open Cribs. Be sure to follow, subscribe. It helps us build our platform and, get a bigger reach to reach more people and bring cool artists on and cool creatives on and provide more content for you guys. So leave a like, comment, let us know what your favorite part of the episode was, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.